Chief Alaric, A-L-A-R-I-C, Fox, F-O-X, from the Enfield Police Department. As you're aware, at 6:34 yesterday in the early evening, Enfield Police Department officers and personnel responded to 17B Alden Avenue here in town for a report that we would characterize as a well-being check. This was initiated by contact from a neighbor who indicated that there were sounds of a disturbance coming from that address. Upon arrival, Enfield Police Department personnel entered into that apartment and 2 victims were located. One victim was pronounced deceased at the scene. The second victim was transported to Bay State Hospital where she succumbed to her injuries. During the overnight hours, a search warrant was obtained for that address, and with the assistance of Connecticut State Police personnel, Enfield and State Police personnel executed the search warrant during the overnight hours. The work at the scene is primarily forensic in nature. A canvass was done of the neighborhood to identify any other witnesses, any video, any other information that might be relevant. I can share with you that the 22-year-old granddaughter of the female victim has been arrested. At this point, she is charged only with the violation of a protective order that had been issued in relation to an earlier dispute between the parties, that having occurred on July 7th, 2021, at that same address. We would characterize that as a family disturbance of a or at a misdemeanor level. Detective Division personnel are continuing to work on the case in conjunction and in liaison with the State's Attorney's Office to determine when and if additional charges for this party relative to the deaths of the 2 individuals are going to be appropriate.
And can you explain when the police got into the residence, this granddaughter was just in there? She was in the house?
The granddaughter was located inside. They met with her and discussed the matter with her briefly. She was detained. Eventually, she was interviewed back here at the police department, and this led, as I mentioned, at this time, merely to the protective order charge.
Can you say anything about how the 2 victims were killed? Was it a shooting, or how was that?
At this point, in an effort to ensure the integrity of the investigation, I can't comment on the manner of death. When we reach a point where that information doesn't compromise or potentially compromise the case, we'll certainly share that.
Can you talk about the relationship between the 2 victims?
Boyfriend, girlfriend.
And she was the granddaughter of who?
The female.
Okay.
So that protective order, that was from an incident between these 2 victims, with the 2 victims?
The protective order was the protected party. The party protected from was the individual who's been arrested, and she was the one that was charged in the 7/7 incident.
So have police previously been called to that residence on Alden Avenue often, or?
I would not say often. The one that I'm aware of is the 7/7 incident.
Do you know when we can expect additional charges to be filed?
Well, certainly, I have folks, God bless them, that have been working, from yesterday evening throughout the entire night, and they're working studiously on it as we speak. I'm sure that they, much like all of you, would like as rapid a resolution as possible. Fair?
Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you, folks.